So today we're talking about Twitter. I'm going to preface this by saying that Twitter is not my favorite thing in the world. In fact, I keep hoping it does.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello. So happy to see you guys. Happy Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
Yes,
It's Wednesday.
And how?
Well, we all need to turn off our phones.
So this is a do not disturb type situation. Guys, if you're hanging out with us, make sure that you say hi in the comments. Tell us where you're from. Even if you come and watch the replay, which we love you for doing.
No matter which channel you're on, because you will find this on...
This is what happens when you use a device that you're not used to.
So,
Tim?
hey, what's going on? So you will find us live on Depict Media, on Hexcode Designs, and our homepage of Collab Corner.
Oh my gosh, we're so cute.
Oh my gosh.
No,
You should see
when
us
you're
off
giggling
camera.
this right now.
That's okay, because they're going to break out the gloves later.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Right now they're friends, but here in a little bit
Are
when
we?
we start talking Twitter, they will.
Woman, I'm moving into the boxing glove.
It
All
had to be
right, I'm going to pull up the comments from Depict Media. So if we have anyone over there, what's going on, Shannon?
So glad you guys are joining us today. We have a really good show for you. I'm Jen Cole with Depict.
I'm Julie Riley with Depict.
Marisa Vanskyver with Hexcode Designs. And hey, Alyssa, you'll love the gloves more in a few minutes.
And Chrissy Robin with Hexcode Designs as well. So,
All right, so why don't we dive into first? And I guarantee you it's going to be good. Why don't we talk about how we came up with Collab Corner? Because we kind of did that a little bit last week, but let's talk about it.
yeah, let's get into it a little bit more. So, as you guys know, Marisa and I own Hexcode Designs, and we are very much in the digital realm. We do a lot with websites, and that's kind of our main focus. And Jen and Julie are with Depict Media, and they do social media. So we thought, what better way to bring it all together as we've grown closer in the last year than to put together a show that is going to give you guys everything digital.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, we are all about the collaboration. We've said that for a long time. Competition is no fun. We'll stick with the collaboration.
Exactly.
For sure. And it's way more fun to be friends.
And so Collab Corner was born this summer.
So we started talking about Collab ICT.
Yeah.
Let's give a background of our name here.
Yeah, it's transformed.
Some of it was a little bit laziness because we're like, there's 4 of us, so we don't have to be on the show every week. So that's kind of nice.
Kind of cool.
Yes.
I mean, it's all about collaboration. But then we also kind of decided that we had even better name come up. How, Julie?
So we are all in a mastermind with strategic organization.
Shout out.
Hey.
Yes. We love our strategic organization group. It is business therapy.
Oh, sure.
You know, everyone needs a little therapy in their life. As business owners, I feel like you need quite a bit more. And oh my gosh, our mastermind is amazing with the business therapy.
Yes, business
So-
therapy, ideas, everything. It's just so
great.
amazing to get together, and we're all on this journey of being a business owner, and you get so many ideas and you're able to work through things that maybe somebody else has worked through. Strategic organization is fantastic.
Yes. So Tim, we're going to get to your question there.
Oh, yeah.
So the corner
Did I
bit
just answer that? I'm just kidding.
came from a couple masterminds ago. We all ended up they kind of assign us seats with our little name placards, and we all ended up in the corner. And because we
talk
are,
too much.
We kind of put ourselves in the corner, to
Well,
be fair.
we did, but we were there. So we were in the corner because it's a U-shaped kind of table. And so the corner section was us. And we were sitting there answering people's questions and just talking people through other problems. And we were the digital group,
Right.
and always had kind of those digital answers. And it started to get referred to as, well, the girls in the corner.
Exactly.
The corner,
Yes.
yeah.
And we were struggling because we're like, well, collab ICT, that's fun, but it's not as much fun. And they're like, collaboration corner, that's even better.
It has
Yeah.
alliteration.
Right.
Everyone
Exactly.
Yes.
does.
Who doesn't like alliteration?
I
Yeah.
know.
So then we chopped it down to Collab Corner to make it nice and simple. And yeah, we like the
Here we
collaboration. And
Yay.
Yeah. So now we permanently sit in the corner at
Yes.
So-
SO as well.
Very
So
specifically requested that spot the last time, even though one of us was not allowed to be there.
Yes.
yeah.
That's fine.
So
This time.
So that's kind of the birth of that. And what's going to be amazing about this is those of you who came over with us from the midweekish talk, we really focused on the digital marketing space. And we focused on experts from around the country and around the world, but not necessarily local. Where
Right.
Collab Corner, we're going to open it up beyond just the digital marketing space, and we are going to open it up to local audience as well.
Right.
We have our first local guest next week.
Yes, we do. Next week. Next week is Design Week here in Wichita, and I am very excited to have one of my good friends on, IU
Ganabin.
Ganabin. Yes.
Ganabin.
IU
Ganabin.
Well, because
Yes.
when we went to school together,
She was Corbinisi.
Yeah. She had different last names.
yeah.
So I had to think through it real quick. But yes, she will be on. Her, me, and our graphic designer here on staff, Taylor, will all be talking graphic design and our different perspectives of it and everything like that, because we all come from a little bit different background through graphic design.
And you're going to have
Exactly.
me on that episode as the outside expert, right?
No.
We get to sit in the comment section.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. We've got
We're gonna sit
Mandy
just over
joining
there
us.
in the corner.
Hi,
Thanks.
Mandy.
What's going on?
Yes. So it's going to be really awesome.
Yeah.
Jen and I both have worked with IU before. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
love
She's a
IU.
good girl.
She is such a
Very
sweetheart.
smart,
and-
very talented.
Yeah.
The awesome thing is that we'll be able to hit on all these different aspects, whereas I'm a designer, developer, social media. You guys are analytics and words.
Yep.
So we're going to hit on all of the aspects and really give you great inside information and advice and everything like that.
Yeah.
Which brings us to today. I'm probably not allowed to introduce this topic.
Okay. So we
No, you're not.
have a fun, heated debate today. We are breaking out the boxing gloves for this one.
Fun.
So we're gonna have a debate between an anti-Twitter user
Are you completely anti?
Pretty much.
Oh,
and the Twitter
100%
lover over
anti.
Can
here.
you help
That's
me
you,
with my
not
button?
You use your teeth. That's how you do the Velcro.
That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
Now I
Boxing
know.
101. You got to grab them with your teeth and
I
just.
just make my trainers.
I'm not really hitting anybody.
Well, we're not wrapped, so you might break a hand in there.
I feel like my fingernails are too long for this, and I can't itch my nose.
And
like this.
her first comment when we got here was, "They don't match my dress."
They don't match my dress.
However, she was forewarned
matches
what her
everything.
gloves would look like yesterday. So that's her own fault
They
for not
match your
matching.
lipstick. Good job.
Yeah.
Dear Lord, this might be the girliest conversation about boxing gloves I've ever heard.
I bring it out of you.
Yes, Tim, I do know a lot about the proper boxing technique because I box. And so
so
does
does
Marisa.
Marisa.
That's why my
and so
gloves are
Christy does
badass.
too.
Yeah.
So there are actually three
I-
boxers in this room. Jen is the one who does not.
I really have an itchy face. Thank you.
Tim said that red suits you. I'm not leaning over to put that one up on the screen. I have to keep. The only downside with 4 on the screen is that it leaves the camera and the computer way over there, so I gotta
Oh, yeah.
reach for it.
And we put the shortest one in charge of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
I
But
don't know.
she's coaching me and driving, so
Yeah.
shaking
Wait,
us up.
where's my water and my sweat? towel?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
By the way, Julie's way nicer to Jen than I am with you on this.
It's very true.
Sometimes.
But wait till she pushes the button later.
She helped me put my glove on.
She
don't-
did.
But I also lectured you about just biting it with your teeth. And I'm like, woman, just.
Let's go.
I don't need help, woman.
All right.
Let's get into this.
Okay.
Okay.
So I have some notes. And here, you're gonna move that. Yeah. So
Twitter, I will.
I just
defend
realized I
your honor.
can't comment on the live video now. So if anybody wants to ask questions on the Hex
What
Code
is-
live video, Chrissy will be answering you because I'm a little bit busy. But
What?
oh yeah,
Okay.
There's an awful
Yeah, I
lot
think-
to say.
I think we need to lay down some ground rules because this one will go on a rant and we won't get her to shut up if we don't. I love you.
no, you do. What?
I will boop you if you go too long.
I mean, if I really need to shut up, just
So I'm saying that you get to make your kind of statement. You'll get to make yours.
Are we
Do
timing
we want to go
this?
with 2 minutes?
Yeah, let's time them. Let's
Okay,
go
I'm
into
pulling
2
up-
minutes.
Oh shoot.
Okay, we're pulling up the clock.
We're gonna do this in
A
like
boxing
true
round
debate,
is 3
debate
minutes.
form.
Just saying.
3 minutes. Give me 3 minutes, please.
2.
Dang
Wait,
it.
It's only a
this is
30-minute show.
Short show, and you guys are 10 minutes in.
Okay,
Shoot.
so all right, ready?
And the keyword
Go.
is boop.
Okay, so number one reason why Twitter and I do not like each other. Well, I just don't like Twitter. It's personal. Twitter really hasn't been growing much. If you look at the statistics of the platform usage, unlike Facebook, unlike Instagram and everything else, Twitter is growing, yes, but it's really stagnating. Over the last, I looked up some stats today because I wanted to be prepared.
You said you would.
Developer brain. But over the last 2 years, it's only gained 20 million users. So they went from 310 million users to 330. That's just not that many people. Plus, when you think about a lot of those, they say 15% are bots. 15% are bots. When you think about that, then you're not really growing. And when you look at the way people are using Twitter and stuff, like I can't deny it can do powerful things in developing regions. But in the US and for marketing,
Wow. Okay, so
it was less than 2
All
minutes.
right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good job.
Good job.
Okay, so you're right. Twitter has not been growing as fast as Instagram or as Facebook or as YouTube or any of those things. But it's a very, in my opinion, it's a very.
I love that they still have the gloves on.
I'm putting up the clock.
Sorry,
Anticipation.
sorry, you're 2 minutes. Keep going.
Yeah, okay. It's I feel like Twitter is much more specialized in format than all of the other platforms. It's shortened. It's and I don't think that it doesn't involve a whole lot of emotion
Ooh.
a lot of the time to be on Twitter. And so I mean, you can get emotional if you're gonna. There are certain things that you can be very emotional about. Yes, and a lot of the bots have killed off Tim. So thank you for throwing that out there. They are really getting on top of the bots, and I really, as a user and as a lover of Twitter, I highly appreciate that. But I think that it's the format. It's definitely a format thing. It's not a place for long form content, and Facebook has a place for long form content. Instagram now has a spot for long form content in IGTV. But Twitter does not have a spot for long-term content. It's always directing people off of its platform, to go get the long-term content or the long-form content. And so I think that that's probably a big part of it. Is it's not a great place to sit there and truly express yourself for a very long time. And also, it's a lot different than the other platforms in how you tag and use the hashtag. And a lot of people are not familiar with even what a hashtag is for. And using the at handle is a challenge for a lot of people too. And so I think that there's a lot of daunting things about Twitter, but I think that once you get on there and start growing your community on Twitter and interacting with people, you'll find the right people.
Is that all you got?
That's all I got. For now.
Okay, so that may be true, and I can give Twitter that. However, when you look at it, so more stats to throw your way. Okay, so here's the thing. When I talk to this is really
real quick. Christine says that moments are the closest to long form.
That's an excellent point, Christine.
Nope.
Yes, absolutely. And Periscope. Periscope is a very
Periscope
good.
is still around.
Don't even get me started on Periscope. We might be on the same page with the whole Periscope thing. But Christine, I love that you brought up moments because those are golden. They're like a scrapbook on Twitter. It's wonderful.
Yeah. And Tim brought them up as well. So
whatever. Tim was just copying Christine.
Christine's on a different page.
Oh, fair enough. She's on
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, hey, Christine's on Hex Code. We have like 3 devices.
And
4 devices down here.
yet she's battling you on.
It's true. Christine, we're not friends. You know what? I quit as your Instagram husband now.
Oh.
Okay.
Anyway,
All right, there we go.
I'm serious about it.
Okay.
So a lot of where you're right, there's a lot of content and things like that you have to really think through with Twitter, which is the other reason we don't recommend it a lot of times. So we have a lot of clients, let me just preface this, that come to us and they go, oh my goodness, I can't do Twitter, I can't do Facebook, I can't do Instagram, I can't do LinkedIn, I can't do all of these things. So what's the first thing that we're going to tell them to lose? Twitter.
No. Wait a second.
Yes.
I know I'm not in the battle.
You're not. You don't have gloves on.
I do not have gloves on.
But you're the ref and a coach, so
there is
Certain
a time and a
industries.
place in
Right.
certain industries that we would recommend Twitter.
Right, exactly.
Or at the very least, I would battle you on that in front of the client.
But it's true. It's awkward for our clients when we do that. But 90% of the time, when we come across the type of clients that we work with right now, accurate?
No, there's a couple of the clients.
Right. 90% of our
Okay.
clients. Thank you. You're supposed to be on my side.
Literally.
But 90% of those clients, we would tell them not to worry about Twitter, at least not to start their social strategy.
Especially,
And a lot of
yes,
that is
not to start.
because it's overwhelming.
Can be, yeah.
And so when you look at it, I mean, that's even why I was telling you at lunch the other day. So it's so funny while we were preparing for this, because we do prepare,
Yes.
despite what you think. We do sort of prepare. That's why
Right.
we had gloves, although these are always in my car.
Mine are mine.
Murderers.
But but when we were talking about this at lunch the other day, I was telling her that this is kind of one of my big problems with it because it's overwhelming. I started to try to get back into Twitter again, about 7 months to like a year ago, something like that, because I thought I'd unfairly judged it. Twitter can become a social, like a time suck.
It can.
See, and Christine agrees with me. She says she doesn't actually usually get her clients on Twitter. It's a time suck. And so when don't take that, Tim, go to somebody else's video. Go to Depict, so she's not highlighting your stuff. Oh, will you stop it? I got 3 minutes. So because it's overwhelming and because it can be a time suck. So a lot of times we tell them start with something else, because also, with Twitter and versus say Facebook, you're good to post once a day. You don't necessarily need, in fact, you shouldn't probably post multiple times a day, depending on the type of business you are.
Right.
Totally depends.
I know. Stop putting like
I said depends.
hard lines in there.
But for most businesses, you're fine posting once a day on Facebook. On Twitter, a lot of people, they get caught up in that. Well, it's only now 280 characters. I need to post all the time. And okay, who here has seen Easy A, the Genius movie with Emma Stone? And with the Thomas Hayden Church, when he plays the teacher, he's like, I don't care. No, I can't remember the character's name, but he's drinking a vanilla Coke. I don't really care. That's the kind of things that people are used to, what Twitter was used for, what I'm doing right this second. Facebook has managed to navigate away from that. Twitter, I still think, falls into that just a little bit, where people feel they still connect that with that. And so when people, when they have something that they need to get out quick, Christine, you're right. It's totally good. And
Ding, ding, ding.
And geeking out on something. She distracted me.
I had the timer stop during it.
Well,
my
with her heart glove.
I had the timer stop during that. I
see?
restarted it.
She knows Jen too well.
Okay, but I have more.
Go.
But we'll see what you say.
Okay, so I get that. It's a really hard thing to start and to get used to, but it's totally worth it, and it's totally worth to test. Like, get on there and create a dummy account that nobody can see and practice. Like we do this with a Facebook group. It's private, nobody can see it. But set up a test account and practice. And I know it takes time. I know it does, but it's really good. It's a really good skill to have, because there's so much authority that you can build for yourself on Twitter simply by using hashtags, simply by joining in industry specific Twitter chats. You can this is an easy way to connect with people in your industry for free that you may not have ever.
Coach is going to interject though. What happens sometimes on Twitter chats? Because I told you I was going to push the button.
Let me finish the thought. Shit. So it's very, very easy to set yourself up as an authority and to reach out and to meet like-minded people from all over the world, also in your industry, that you might not have met simply by a hashtag. Speaking of hashtags, I have 2 things to bring up very quickly. Yes, look up the hashtag SM Besties on Twitter, because we have a wonderful crowd from all over the world, and we tweet each other the Twitter chat is going on all day long, every single day around the clock. But we jump in, we jump out, we congratulate each other, we lift each other up, we do all kinds of amazing things on Twitter, and we're all in the social media marketing industry. But then also, we'll talk about the chat. This is going to take more than 30 seconds, though, so we'll bring it up later because I don't want to like crowd this point.
Okay.
Twitter is very, very good at building community and establishing your brand as an authority in the industry. And it's just so visible with the simple use of a hashtag or the right hashtags.
I do have to agree with that one. The brand and the authority.
Right. And I can agree with that. But there again, I mean, when you look about specific clients, so this is maybe where I don't like Twitter, because I see a lot of people that recommend that you need 3 types of social media accounts. You need women.
Ooh, sorry.
You need you need Facebook, you need Instagram, and you need Twitter. And I see people say that all the time, and that's not always true.
Nope.
So according to Twitter's own statistics, they count 80% of their user base as affluent millennials.
Mm-hmm.
If that's not your market, if that's not who you're trying to sell to, what's the point in you being on Twitter? But I mean, that's the thing. When you look at it, you really do. And that's why we tell people all the time, like we've recommended to clients, hey, you don't need to worry about Instagram right now.
I'm going to interject though. What is a millennial?
It's like 24 to 39 right now. I don't know.
Okay. Unless you are selling to a children's clothing boutique,
Which
like,
you get their
or a
parents.
teen clothing
Right.
boutique maybe, or an old folks home. And even then you're going to get the kids of the old folks. You pretty much your entire market is a millennial.
That's debatable, because when you talk about the affluent too, depending on your price margins, depending on what you're selling. So it really totally depends on what you're looking at. And then you have to look at your local market as well. What's the activity on Twitter locally? What kind of people locally? Because if you're a local business, what kind of people locally are active on Twitter and using it? Wichita has an amazingly active Instagram.
Yes,
community.
we do.
Yes.
That is so
Huge.
true.
Yes.
And we have one client that I would normally not tell them to be on Instagram, but because we have an active Instagram community, all day long they're on Instagram.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We do recommend that for the clients that, for here locally. Locally, Twitter might be bigger than I realize, but for what they were doing, and they had a Twitter before, they weren't seeing any kind of results. I'm like, nobody here cares what you're doing.
Right.
Twitter.
Right.
And that's, so you have to examine a little bit more nuance. And maybe that just goes back to where we look at social media a little different than, some other marketing agencies. We don't recommend all. We recommend what makes sense for you.
Absolutely.
Which is one of the reasons I don't like Twitter, because 9 times out of 10, unless your short form content is really imperative to your business, or news.
News is great for Twitter.
News is great for Twitter. We have another client who, they are very sports oriented. They're going to be great on Twitter, and they're local, but because the weather and things like that are going to be kind of imperative.
Right.
But you have to think about who your market is, who you're talking to, and whether or not they're actually there. And yeah, you're right. Millennials
ding.
are a lot of people. But down.
Okay, so we talked a lot about millennials. We talked about
Which Julie debated for you.
Yeah.
But I paused it during that. So when I was speaking, I paused it.
We talked about market, and we talked about the idea of not everybody has to be everywhere. And this is a point where I'm definitely going to agree with you. I'm not going to tell all of my clients you must be on Twitter. That's absolutely ridiculous. It's a waste of time, and time is money, guys. So you need to go where your audience is. Go where your audience is, but also, and who is your audience though? They're potential clients, they're potential customers, but they're also, in my opinion, because we are a collaboration minded, and we've all seen how well that works when you're willing to do it.
Yes.
A lot of brains are better than just one. A lot of different perspectives are better than just one. So when you're getting out there and establishing yourself as an industry authority, which is so easy to do on Twitter, whether you're getting more followers or not, that is a vanity number. But if you're spending the time to establish yourself as somebody that's knowledgeable and using Twitter, a very free and very visible place to do that, then it doesn't really matter. If you're there for numbers, that sucks. But if you're there to, with the clear purpose of establishing yourself as somebody knowledgeable in your industry, then it can do a lot for you. Not everybody needs to be on there. It could be a waste of time, but it could also be a lifeline for you. It could be a customer service. Like you could be the only one in your market that's on there and that answers in real time on Twitter, and people appreciate that. And you can put that in your other marketing materials.
Oh, yeah,
We answer on Twitter.
I yell at airline clients all the time on Twitter.
I know, rental cars.
Yeah.
Customer service is one of Twitter's best things.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really, especially for larger corporations, it really gives you that ability to be right there and answer right away and be able to almost debate some of those negative comments as well.
I was having an issue with my parents' Sprint account. And Sprint was not doing anything about it. And I took it to Twitter, and within 24 hours, I mean, they had responded to me within like minutes, but within 24 hours, the problem that had taken weeks was resolved.
I had to cut security line at the airport once because I whined into Twitter. Like I was on an international flight, it got delayed, and they had an airline representative find me in O'Hare. But I mean, that's the thing with.
Okay, hold on real quick. Are you done with your
Yeah,
thought?
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
That's where I kind of agree. Twitter can have its uses, but we're
whoa, they both went from debating and now they're
collaboration.
They can't get over the collaboration.
But no, and that's where I said, like, I like Twitter in for very specific use.
Right.
You know, customer service is great. This is really weird to do with boxing gloves because I can't count on my fingers.
I can't itch my face. I'll move my bangs.
But that's great for customer service. But I feel like where a lot of Twitter is really struggling right now is that it is so tied into individual brands, and we don't need to get political because we all know the elephant in that room. But when it's so tied into individual brands, it can do a wealth of good and it can do a lot of harm.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where a lot of people are. And you know, how many different celebrities and things have you heard have left Twitter over the last several months because of trolls, because of things that are like that are happening.
Absolutely.
And that Twitter is trying to figure out how to make that different, but at the same time, I think they're taking a lot too long to start blocking people who are harassing, death threats, things like that. And that's where I start to really get frustrated with Twitter.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as a community, as a social media network, basically, they're not doing enough to protect their own users. And they're not doing enough to make their own users feel safe. And I think that's why the growth is declining so severely. Where you're growing, but mostly in emerging markets. There's only like 21 million users in the United States.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But
that's a good point, girl. That's a good point.
Whoa! Silver wins.
We can fight rationally.
So really the biggest takeaway from this is that be on Twitter if it's appropriate from your business. Don't be there for the sake of being there. And we tell our clients that you do not need to be on every channel.
Yes.
However, don't ignore the power of Twitter just because you personally are against it.
Yes. And I think another takeaway is if you know what you're doing, and that's where you guys come in, especially if you know what you're doing, you can really be powerful on Twitter. You can do what you need to do as long as you know what you're doing. And that's the same with any of the social media channels.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do your research. Don't just throw things out there.
Absolutely.
Because that's huge.
And like we said, Twitter is great to establish a personal brand. So if you're somebody who's really looking to establish your personal branding, I'm sorry, my hands are getting sweaty.
Oh, yeah, mine too.
Oh my goodness. So if you're somebody who's really establishing a personal brand versus a company, Twitter can be great for that too. But again, it's all about, you know, what you're trying to do and how you're using it.
Which, like we said, is every social media channel. So really take a look at that.
Yeah, because not everybody needs to be on Instagram.
Nope.
It's beautiful. It's visual. If your product does not have a visual side, or you're not willing to share the behind the scenes side of your business, because that's where I tell businesses, if you want to be there, you can be there, even if you're not visual, but you need to be willing to share the behind the scenes, share your company doing the work. And if you're not willing to share that side of it, then don't be there.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if you do have, say you go out and you're like, oh, I need every social media account. I'm going to get Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube.
Nope.
I'm just going to get everything that I can. And then you do nothing with it or you do something, it negatively affects you.
Right, exactly. Because that's the other thing. I feel like Twitter can a lot of times have more of a negative social proof because you leave it alone and you don't touch it. Yeah. Now, if you want to save your name, like if you're really worried about that,
grab the
handle and privatize the account.
Sure.
Then at least you have it and nobody else can go start tweeting about your company from a company handle, you know.
Right.
But it's the same thing with domain names. We own 30 domain names with a variation of hex code. She doesn't know about all of them.
We probably waste a little bit of money.
It's not
on
wasted.
Domain names.
It's $10 a year.
Yeah,
That was gonna start yelling at me.
that's one cup of coffee over a 12-month span.
Right,
You're
no,
good.
exactly.
Yeah.
The hexcodegirls.com. I mean, all of that. It just forces
You
hex codes
never,
designs.
I mean, you never know what you're gonna need.
Yeah.
Go get
you
it.
may need that eventually.
Yeah.
But and I agree, Tim. There is a lot of superficiality on Instagram where I think
Mhm.
Twitter tends to get more real.
It gets real.
But that's also kind of where I think that the trolls take advantage of that.
Yeah,
and why
absolutely. They
they've been
can.
allowed to breed because people aren't afraid to discuss those hard topics on Twitter.
Yep.
Right.
But that's how they breed.
But what happens when Twitter doesn't work the way you
So
want it to work?
okay, so yes, I am walking into my defending of Twitter day. My defending of Twitter
Upset
day.
at Twitter.
Oh, I have a big chip on my shoulder today with Twitter.
It was not good today,
Oh, Twitter.
which is hilarious
So I'd like
because
to give
we
Twitter
have
a
this
big one of these.
pre-planned for her to defend
yeah.
Twitter, and she comes in ready to stab Twitter.
Yeah,
So
they
here's
walk in
what
our office
happens.
all mad at Twitter.
I got
today.
very
I'm like,
excited
this
with
is
Twitter.
a great day to debate it.
Twitter decided. So I don't know if you guys know, most of you do, that I am I'm the producer for SME Chat for Social Media Examiner, and so our Twitter chat is every Wednesday at noon. Today's Wednesday, right? And there's a lot of people, not a lot of people, but this Twitter chat is growing and it goes
Yeah.
fast. And so I like to use TweetDeck, which is owned by Twitter, to manage the tweets and to monitor the tweets and to tweet back and do all this stuff. I like to use a mixture between TweetDeck and Twitter. Twitter owns TweetDeck, and guess what was not happening today? What was not happening today, and I know
TweetDeck
why.
was not working,
Tweet-
but Twitter itself was also not working to load in the hashtag to
Yes.
follow.
I had a program
was-
to pull in the hashtag SME Chat on TweetDeck and on Twitter. Neither platform would pull in any tweets having to do with SME Chat, and here is why.
Yes.
Twitter has decided, and this is okay, but they didn't need to do it yesterday. Twitter has decided to switch back to you guys having the option of seeing things chronologically. Yay! But you don't have to do it on a Tuesday to where it breaks Twitter, because it broke Twitter. It broke Twitter yesterday and
Is
it
that
broke
why
Twitter
when
today.
she tried to upload?
Yeah,
turn
that
it to
is
Twitter-
probably why.
So yesterday she tries to open Twitter, and what happens?
It gave me a 404 error, and which if
403.
you
403.
I thought it was 4.
Nope.
Oh.
Could-
Maybe. But yeah, it was in our stories yesterday. It may still be there.
The best part is she
But I
lives
was
in
like, did you do this? Did you literally block
you
Twitter?
break Twitter?
Yeah, because it said something like it's here, but you're not allowed to access it. And I was like, did you block our Twitter on purpose?
Oh no.
No,
Twitter
we did
broke
not.
Twitter.
Twitter broke it.
Next, I'm gonna do that just to see if she notices.
Okay, so
With
I think
that-
that's coming to the end.
Yeah.
You need to grab your gloves real quick and at least got to
Oh.
touch gloves.
Touch
Yeah.
gloves.
Got to touch gloves. Touch
Do I
them
have
out.
to put this back on?
No, you don't have to put them on. Just
What the?
Joey.
This is why we're giving you guys a week to cool off.
Yeah. All right. There you go.
Not punch her.
She said, "Well, this is what I
You're
do."
just supposed to touch.
Oh.
I feel like I have one of those baby arms.
Good God.
And on that note, I think we're
Okay.
gonna log off today.
So if you come back and watch the comments, watch the replay, leave
Hang
a
in the
comment.
comments.
Right.
Yes.
We would love to hear your opinion, hear your thoughts on Twitter. Share with us whether you
Yeah.
love it, you hate it, you're indifferent to it, what you're using it for, whether you're using
Please.
it for personal, for a business, for following a celebrity you like. Tell
or
us
just let
what
us
you're.
know you
yeah.
watched on replay.
Yeah.
Or if you
Yeah,
just
awesome.
really, like Wendy's Twitter, because that's the only reason. I
Oh,
still
Wendy's
use
Twitter is awesome.
Oh my
They're-
gosh, yes.
They're epically awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty solid.
And we will be back next week
Yeah,
with
yes.
IU
Yes.
joining Chrissy and Taylor.
And you'll
talking
see us
about
in the
some
comment
design.
section.
So we'll be
Yes.
hanging out.
And we'll probably be giggling in the
I
room
know.
that
If we
direction.
start
Could be
looking over that
flying
way.
objects.
Yes.
And for those of you who are watching on either Hexcode or Depict's page, you can also go like us over on our homepage for this show, which is Collab Corner. And you'll find us on Facebook, and we will later on have a website and some blog replays
Yeah.
and YouTube with all of that.
Yeah,
All of
it's
those
gonna be a
things
big
are
thing.
coming.
When our website developer she's been busy and working hard.
She's
that
highly
girl is hustling. So
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
At least Jen cares. Chrissy just tells me to code faster.
all right, guys.
Oh,
with that, we love you.
Yep.
Have a great week, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching.
Yes. What a box. Pew, pew.